Just a couple of years ago, if you wanted to get a phone with a big screen and good specs, that would be almost impossible. It would either lag, either have a small screen, it was all about compromise. Last year, Samsung announced the Samsung Galaxy Grand, a device with a big display and a mid-range phone that is affordable, yet having this large screen. However, it had a 480p display, it was lagging, it was not all that good. This year, Samsung aims to change that with the Samsung Galaxy Grand 2. The second edition of the Grand features a large 5.25-inch display. It runs on a snappy Snapdragon 400 chip and has a nice camera on the back. Now on paper it all looks good, but how does it feel in real life? Let's find out. The Galaxy Grand 2 adopts the faux leather stitched design that Samsung first used in the Note 3, but in the Grand 2 it feels much more like cheap plastic rather than anything else. Nonetheless, having this even most basic imitation of leather is better than the signature Samsung glossy plastic. In terms of size, the body of the Grand 2 is not too thick, but it's not razor slim either. The phone overall has become more ergonomic than its predecessor and it's easier to use. It is also solidly put together and does not squeak or squeal when you hold it tightly. The lock key is on the right and volume on the left, and both protrude nicely and have nice travel, making them easy to press. The Galaxy Grand 2 comes with a large 5.25-inch 720p LCD display, so images and text appear sharp. Colors are punchy and definitely vivid and lively, but calibration is not perfect as whites are skewed slightly to the cold side and there is some oversaturation going on. While the Grand 2 has a very bright display though, outdoors it's still hard to read as screen reflections are just way too noticeable. On the flip side though, the handset can get down to very low minimum brightness of just 5 nits, a level that makes it very comfortable to read at night. The Galaxy Grand 2 ships with Android 4.2 Jelly Bean with Samsung's usual TouchWiz skin on top. In our modern days of KitKat, it's disappointing to see a dated version of Google's operating system on board, but we remain hopeful that Samsung will update the phone to Android 4.4 in the near future. The TouchWiz user interface here is the same old cartoony and colorful user interface that we know so well from the pre-Galaxy S5 days with signature functions like multi-window on board. In terms of apps, you get the usual set of both Samsung apps with the S prefix, like S Planner, S Voice and S Translator, and other first-party apps and widgets like the Weather app and File Manager. Typing out text messages on the large display is also a pleasure as the stock Samsung keyboard has well-spaced letters and it's easy to type on. The Galaxy Grand 2 is a mid-range phone that does not feel underpowered at all. It runs on the quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 system chip, a surprisingly capable piece of silicon that handles the Android daily grind with virtually no lag or slowdown. We're looking at 4 Cortex A7 based cores running at up to 1.2 GHz, along with a generous 1.5 GB of RAM and the usual for the class Adreno 305 graphics chip running at up to 450 MHz. With such a large display, the Grand 2 is also a device that will certainly appeal to gamers. Good news is that it is capable of running the latest games, including even heavier titles from the Google Play Store. It is not as future-proof as high-end phones of course, and some games won't run at maximum detail, but if you're not particularly picky about that, the Grand 2 can also be used as an affordable gamer's phone. There's one caveat though, with internal storage of just 8 GB of which only around 5 gigs are available to the end user, you will definitely need a micro SD card. Luckily, memory expansion is supported and you can pop in cards of up to 64 gigs. The Galaxy Grand 2 gives you the choice of a Samsung-made custom Android browser and Google Chrome for surfing the web. Both get the job done swiftly and efficiently. Samsung's solution, however, offers an immersive full-screen mode that makes best use of space, while Google's Chrome has an advantage in its cross-device syncing capabilities and slightly better interface. Scrolling around and zooming in and out is relatively smooth on both browsers with only an occasional stutter. In terms of connectivity, the Galaxy Grand 2 ships in 3 different models. Model G7100 is the single SIM version with only HSPA mobile data. We have a G7102 that is a dual SIM version for emerging markets, and it also has HSPA 3G connectivity. And finally we have the G7105, a single SIM model that actually supports 4G LTE, so 3 models, 2 with 3G and 1 with 4G, selling differently in different markets. We've got the single SIM version for review here, but the other models should look nearly identical. Neatly, the Grand 2 also comes with dual channel Wi-Fi, as well as the more traditional connectivity options like Bluetooth 4.0 and 8 GPS, but there is no NFC on board. The Samsung Galaxy Grand 2 features an 8 megapixel autofocus camera with a single LED flash, as well as a 2 megapixel front-facing camera. The camera app starts quickly, revealing an interface typical for Samsung with shooting modes like Panorama, Night and Sports, as well as plentiful manual settings including ISO and white balance adjustments. On the whole, images captured on the Grand 2 are definitely good, way above the average for this price class, looking sharp, vivid and generally noise-free. The camera also has an HDR shooting mode that would come in handy when you want more dynamics in an image, but capturing an HDR shot is slow and requires a steady hand. The main camera can also record video with up to 1080p resolution at 30 frames per second, and recorded footage looks pleasingly smooth and sharp. But with the wish there was a continuous autofocus mode. Right now you have to manually tap to refocus in video. The large 5.25-inch display on the Grand 2 is great for watching video on the go or browsing through photos. Samsung's Gallery app neatly categorizes your pictures in folders, and in each folder you have the handy option to resize the image thumbnails. For video, the Grand 2 has a player that runs some common video formats, but we could not get it to play XVID and DivX encoded clips out of the box. Luckily, there is the Google Play Store for that and plentiful free applications that can handle those codecs. For music, you have both Samsung's custom music player and Google Play Music. Samsung's solution offers a bit more flexibility with support for per folder music playback, but apart from that, both are practically equally capable. Now, sound output via the Loudspeaker is loud and sufficiently clear without being outstanding in any other way. We're very happy with the high quality of sound in the earpiece. Voices sound natural, very clean and sufficiently loud on our end of the line. Outgoing quality though is below average. Volume is loud enough, but the voices are a bit muted and dull, lacking vibrancy and clarity. It's also worth noting that there is just a single microphone on the Grand 2, so it does not support noise cancellation. One of the biggest improvements in the Grand 2 over the original Galaxy Grand is the fact that it now ships with a large 2600 mAh battery, up from a 2100 mAh one on the original. Real-world testing showed that you can expect around a day and a half between charges on average. As is the case with many Samsung devices, you can also easily peel off the back cover and swap batteries on the Grand 2, which is a nice convenience. So, question remains, has Samsung finally brought a mid-range device with both a large display and good specs that does not lag? And we're happy to say that we're mostly pleased, and we think that Samsung has gone a long way towards that goal. With the Galaxy Grand 2, of course. It's a device that costs around €250 or that's around $350 off contract, and the price of course varies by market, and this has 3 different variants, so this will differ by variant as well. But overall it's a zippy device. It has a nice and large display, it's a sharp display, 720p, and the camera takes actually pretty pleasing images. So all in all, we're pretty pleased with this phone, and we definitely recommend you to check it out and also take a look at our in-depth review at PhoneArena.com. Thanks for watching.